Hi guys, it's Molly with Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing. I hope you are all doing very, very well. Thank you for being here on my channel. Thank you so much to all my subscribers. Thanks to new subscribers, new viewers, people who are just kind of discovering the channel. Welcome, welcome. I hope that you guys are happy to be here today. I am, okay? So let's get into it. My name is Molly. If you want to book a personal reading with me, all the information you need is in the description box below. This reading that I'm going to do today, I do not do readings like this on my channel. I never have before. It's just something that I'm very, very called to do. And so I'm just kind of following my guidance and to see what comes out, okay? So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at some events that are happening in the news media and how these are the conversations basically that I've been having with my guides over the past couple of days. How these certain particular news stories, these things that are happening in the public eye are essentially a reflection of energy that is at play within the collective subconscious at this time. Whenever we are getting a red flag from whatever's in the public eye, okay, this is the connection. Whatever's happening in the media, in the news, in the public eye, it's sort of almost as if it's a way in which our guides are communicating to us about what the collective consciousness is going through right now and the collective subconscious. Whenever we identify something on that particular radar, the best thing that each of us can do as individuals is just go within and take a peek at how that particular dynamic might be playing out within us as well. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to be talking a lot about masculine and feminine energies. There are going to be some symbols that come up in this discussion for feminine energy and for masculine energy that are decidedly female and male. However, I want to reiterate that this is not about gender at all. It's not about gender, is not about body parts, okay? It is about energies. And so we're going to be talking about masculine and feminine energies. There's this really distorted dynamic that is at play. And so basically we're going to dig into what's going on, how these particular news stories are a reflection of that energy, and what can each of us do to look within at our own individual masculine and feminine energies, because we do contain them both, and see what dynamic is at play within, because by healing ourselves, we're healing the collective. You guys know that, right? Okay, when we get these things worked out within ourselves, that affects the ability of the collective to get it worked out as well. All right, so let's talk about these missing women found dead, essentially in national parks. All right, you guys might be familiar with, just because it's getting a lot of media attention right now, the case of Gabby Petito, whose remains were identified yesterday, I believe, for sure as being hers. And the short story here, if you guys are not aware of it, this is a young couple that went on a road trip. The male returned, the female did not. He's not giving any information to police about her whereabouts. She was essentially, her remains have been found and identified as being her. The cause of death has been identified as a homicide, and this guy is like on the run right now, okay? Like FBI is looking for him and cannot find him, all right? The second one happened back in early August. There was a woman named Angela Tremonte, I believe, from Boston, who had flown down to Arizona to meet up with this guy that she met online. They went on a hike together. They separated, and she was later found dead, okay? That is just another news story. There are two, right, that I'm really, really looking at. And like I said, these are all a reflection, we're going to get to this in a second, of something that's going on in the collective subconscious at this time, okay? These are red flags. It's almost like things appear in your life, like little synchronicities appear in your life as signs from your spirit guides to maybe look at certain aspects of your inner self, right? That's what's happening on a larger scale. Okay, that's the message that I'm getting about these particular news stories. I'm gonna go ahead and say, just to get this out of the way, the amount of news coverage that the Gabby Petito case is getting right now, like, That's a distraction. There's something else going on in the world that the news cycle is really wanting to distract us from. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to make any assumptions or, prognostications about what that might be. But I definitely think that this is a way to keep people focused on their TV sets or their screens, their little phone screens, okay? But at the same time, it is a red flag. All right, that is how it's being identified to me by my guides, and the same with the case of Angela Tremonti. So these are both women who were found in national parks, okay? And the national parks are also showing up here as a symbol for the feminine energy. Okay, what's showing up as a symbol for the masculine energy is essentially the societal forces that are likely protecting the men in each of these situations. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like, I'm trying to keep the bias out of this. I don't even watch the news that much, but I really, really, really had my attention drawn repeatedly back to these two cases. All right, so I do have some bias. I have some of my own insights and opinions about the cases. All right, Brian Laundrie's being protected. Like, he's definitely being, like, where they're searching right now is not even where he's at. I'm not going to get too far into it. It's a distraction, okay? But I do believe that he is being protected. That is the fiance of Gabby Petito. He returned from vacation without her and has been refusing to cooperate with authorities. The gentleman in the other case, the case of Angela Tremonti, he is a police officer. He was not, of course, not on duty when this situation happened where they go on a hike, they separate, and she's later found dead. But I'm getting a lot of downloads about that particular case because there's not a lot of information out there. People don't really know, like, well, what was going on between those two people when they were on the hike? What was the rapport like? They had just known each other online for a while. There's a lot of stuff that has yet to come to the surface, and I think eventually will. But I also believe that he has certain social structures around him that are protecting him from too much scrutiny at this time. All right. So those are the masculine energies. All right. And then the feminine energies, the reason why I'm associating the national parks with the feminine energies, what does a national park do? First of all, you guys, it's nature. It's just there to receive us. All right. So there's something very, very symbolic about the fact that these things are happening in national parks. And we're just going to see what Spirit says about that. Okay. What else did I want to say? There are these two cases. I keep getting the message that there is a third. Okay. That there's a third. Like, maybe if we dug around in the news a little bit more, maybe there's some other news story or disappearance that I'm not aware of yet. Maybe nothing set in stone, but maybe that is a warning that there could be potentially a third such situation, just a similar situation with a woman going missing, possibly later found dead within a national park. Okay, because what both of these things have in common is the fact that these women were abandoned by the men that they were with. Okay. The feminine energy was abandoned by the masculine energy. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time because remember, the purpose of this is look at what's going on in the collective and then what's going on within each of us, our little microcosms in here, because we are fractals of the greater collective. Okay, is there any way, that's the bottom line. What Spirit is asking us to look within and ask ourselves is there any way in which the masculine energy is abandoning the feminine energy within each of us, okay? Within your own personal relationships, maybe at work, maybe at home, okay? This is the question that's being asked, that Spirit is urging us to ask, okay? What else do I want to say? I did do a little search and I found that there was a 57-year-old woman who on September 12th, I believe, went on a hike near Scottsdale with her husband. They also separated and she was later found deceased that same evening, okay? That was just a couple that separated. That was a part of their plan. And then she unfortunately did not make it to the meetup point afterwards. I'm sorry that this is so morbid, you guys. I don't like sitting around talking about death necessarily, but at the same time, I'm not that I'm not that creeped out by talking about death. It's just kind of, it's a fact of life, is it not? All right, you guys, so let's do this. Let's figure out, I have all these decks. Past life oracle cards were pretty loud. They want to come out first. And all I'm going to do basically is I'm asking Spirit to clarify the message, all right? Because I have, through my spirit guides, identified these particular news stories, this particular dynamic, as being some sort of red flag, something that we need to look at a little more closely, look at how it plays out in the collective, and look at how it plays out within ourselves. There's also another really, really, really strong message that I'm getting, that both of these women, I almost feel, in fact, I'm hearing very strongly the phrase, the last stand, that each of these women had some sort of final show of strength in the face of the masculine that they were with, okay? I think there's a lot of ego at play within the masculine at both of these situations, but I'm not here to attack the ego and demonize the ego, because we know it exists for a reason, and we got to learn to work with it, not against it, all right? It's not always a bad thing, all right? But it can show up in just a very, very, very stubborn way, in a very unhealthy way, okay? And I feel like that has to do with the attitude being held by each of these men within them that says, you know what, just forget about her, just leave her, just forget about her, don't worry, just leave her, okay? There's something about that there's some ego at play there, all right? And I believe, I'm just getting this energy that each of these women, a short time before their death, had a show of strength where they stood up for themselves, okay? And I'm not saying, like in the second case with Angela Tremonti, there's no proof of foul play whatsoever, okay? I'm gonna be clear about that. That doesn't mean there wasn't any, but that's not the current narrative, all right? But I do feel that dynamic, because they're actually, what they're showing me is the strength card and the devil card, okay? They're showing me the strength card in the position of the feminine and the devil card in the position of the masculine. And we have transportation. So the fact that each of them there's something about the journey, okay? About agreeing upon a journey, and about them being in nature, through nature. That is a part of the symbolism here for both of these cases, all right? They both had they set off on an adventure, they had a destination, it was meant to end in a certain way at a certain time, and they didn't get there. But it is about moving through nature, and I even want to say like nature's cycles for some reason. Is there anything else that wants to come out from this deck? Okay. We have leaving or travel. Okay, so what is the message for the collective consciousness? This monk or nun card is showing up in spirituality and religion, absolutely. This, by the way, is the past life oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss. I think this is just really reiterating with the monk or nun in the spirituality and religion is saying this is an opportunity for each of us to go within, okay? Just to go within and take a peek what's going on in here. There's something very much about being abandoned while on a journey. All right? So the feminine energy is going through some sort of transition, both within the collective and potentially within the individual. The feminine is on a journey right now. Starseed Oracle deck wants to actually Sacred Traveler. That makes so much sense. Sacred Traveler deck wants to come out. Let's see what's going on with the feminine in the collective, because I feel like this is where Spirit wants to orient our attention first. There's some sort of journey. And of course, my deck got really super messed up. But look at this, you guys. desert passage. Both of these things occurred in the American Southwest. All right. There is trust that there's a divine plan. Trust that there is sense that's going to come out of all of this. And I am getting just a nice little nudge. Oh, this is beautiful. Protected by angels. You are cherished by the angels. All right. I am getting nudged to just remind myself that this is very, very emotional for a lot of people who have been following this, and especially for the families of the women involved, and even the men involved, the families of anybody involved in these situations, friends, acquaintances, people who looked up to them on social media, right? And this is just kind of a message to anybody who is suffering, or who really, even just anybody who got caught up in this story and is feeling really distraught, like really like angry, really anxious. Okay, anybody who's looking at this and saying, oh my God, this is just evidence of the evil that exists out there. Spirit is saying, trust that there is a larger plan at work here, okay? And it's protected by angels. Both of these women were in fact protected by angels, okay? Fellow travelers, support is all around you. There's more of a message coming to that, because look at this. This is a very barren wasteland, okay? And then the same figure almost shows up here, a little more adorned, I guess, on this new scene, okay? This is a very Nine of Pentacles energy, because the peacock and the fruit tree are just kind of indicating that to me. There's some Ten of Cups here with the rainbow. This is about stepping into a reality in which the resources that you need are there for you. There's no resources here in this desert passage, but this is the journey that the feminine is on, okay? It's almost like there's a flourishing that is taking place, but in the process, there is a scarcity. A scarcity mindset or scarcity mentality. There's within the feminine, I feel like the collective feminine, and then a lot of us, and by the way, you don't have to be somebody who identifies as a female to be resonating with this feminine. For all you masculines out there, you have a feminine within, okay? And for all you females out there, you have a masculine within, okay? So looking at the way in which those interact, all right? The inner feminine right now, on a collective energetic level across the planet, is going through a journey at this time. At the end of this journey, this is the landscape that we will be able to emerge upon. All right? There's something very much about this being a magician, almost like the feminine energy being presented as the magician and saying, you know what? This is just this weird zone in which our magic doesn't really work. I'm just delivering the message that's coming through. But once we pass through this, we emerge with the ability to attract this abundance. This is very powerful. This is a world in which feminine power is exalted and allowed to be expressed to its fullest. Okay, so that's the journey that the collective feminine and many of us, many of you watching as individuals, your own inner feminine energy is going through this right now. Okay? And now they're pointing me back to these cards that indicate the need to look within. Like really, really, really look within and talk to your own inner feminine about any feelings of scarcity that she's going through right now. Ask her if she feels protected. Ask her if she feels like she has the support that she needs on this journey. Trust that there is a divine plan. I'm not sure if anything else is going to come out of this deck. It's kind of gone silent. All right. Starseed. Yeah, that comes out. All right. Starseed Oracle deck is coming out as well. Because there is, like I said, something really going on an energetic level. I know now. Okay, there's another deck that I'm going to have to go grab. And it is an oracle deck. I hoped we'd get some tarot out. We might. But I don't know. The energies feel so really big right now that I feel like Spirit's like, you know what, just dip your toe in it. You don't got to go for a swim. You don't have to jump into the deep end. Let's just kind of dip our toe in and see what's going on. Thank you so much, Spirit, for your guidance. What is going on with the feminine on the collective? Water your garden. That's the difference between this scene and this scene, right? I don't know how else to express this. This is a moment in time that we want to call the present. This is a future moment. This is the journey and this is the destination. All right? The difference between this and this is this garden has been watered. Okay? There's a message to nourish your inner feminine. Nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. Tenderness. Tenderness is so important, you guys, right now. That's just intuitively, that's the message that's coming in, all right? Because here's the thing, the message that they're giving me is, and I'm going to characterize this, I'm gonna personify it as if it's a male and a female, but understand, for many of us, this is the masculine and feminine within us, and the conversation that they're having right now. It's almost like they're both working really, 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 really hard, okay? There's a lot going on in the world right now. Pardon, like I said, the coconut harvest going on outside. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and there are times in which the feminine is like, I just need to be strong. I can't talk about how difficult this is for me right now. I just need to be strong. I need to be strong. I need to be strong. And the idea that what it is to be strong is to keep quiet. That's important. I just stumbled into that. And like, it's a little mine of wisdom from Spirit. And then it comes to the moment where the feminine has been pushed too far. Do you know that? You know what I'm saying? There's that moment where it's this I don't know, I raised a child on my own, so I know that I very much had to play masculine and feminine roles within my own household, right? And it's like sometimes you have to abandon the feminine because you think that that's the only way to complete the journey, is if you abandon the feminine. And this is saying, no, you can't do that. You've got to keep them in balance. You've got to tend to, even as harsh as it is, as the external world seems right now, as your own personal individual situation might seem right now, you got to let yourself feel what's going on. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be tender to yourself. All right? They're showing me a child that doesn't want to look at something because it's really big and scary. I really feel that there's somebody watching this that's going to resonate with that, because it's a little girl. It's an inner child that's like, I need help. I need to be protected right now. I need to not be abandoned in this moment. All right? And we each have the ability to support our inner masculine, support our inner feminine by using masculine tools and strategies such as boundaries, speaking up, making rules, making commands. Okay, because both of those energies exist within us. We have the ability to do that. But there's something about the narrative that's coming through right now during this reading is something about the masculine abandoning the feminine in order to finish whatever they perceived as being the journey. Deep cellular healing. It's another portal. It's a portal. Do you see? She's passing through that. There's a lot of healing that's going on. And I almost feel like the way that this card is being animated for me right now, in which she's just kind of opening up these wings. And I feel like that has something to do with us learning how to speak boundaries. how to hold our ground, how to stand up for ourselves, our inner feminine selves, okay? Because we live in a society that is very masculine dominant, and I don't just mean that people with penises run the government and the banks and everything else. What I mean is that it's a very logical, rational, it's not intuitive, sensitive, okay? And so oftentimes in order to get through the day, I don't know, what's that have to do with it? I just got Jack and Jill, you guys. Jack and Jill go up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. There's something about the failure of the masculine energy preceding the tumbling of the feminine energy. It's almost like it's a message to say, look, everybody, all of you, if you're watching this, that you have an inner feminine, and this is somebody that needs, this is the part of you that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be understood, that needs to be heard. And I'm not saying masculine men don't have these needs too. I'm just saying that the way that the message is coming through to me, these things are rooted in the feminine energy. Okay? Whereas the masculine energies are, like I said, about boundaries, protection, about getting things done. Okay, about completing the journey. And all of us have both of those. And sometimes in our day to day, this very masculine world that we live in convinces us that we've got to focus on our own masculine energy and abandon the feminine, so to speak. Bianco Nero had really been showing itself to me, so I'm going to pull a couple cards from that tarot deck, and then I'll probably wrap this up. You guys, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular type of reading. I just saw the Empress and the Emperor on the shuffle, and we have the Tower card here on the split. All right, so yeah, just let me know what you guys think. And like I said before, if you want to book a personal reading with me, all the information you need is in the description box below. Please do feel free to like the video, to comment, subscribe if you haven't done that already. We got Knight of Pentacles. I talked about that, did I not? There's just something really big going on in the collective about feminine energy, stepping into, here's the Ten of Cups that I talked about before. See that rainbow energy? Basically, there is this ideal future in which masculine and feminine coexist in the most productive way, both within and without. Okay? That's the journey. That's the destination. Remember I said, look, destination, fellow travelers. Okay? So a lot of this, it's almost like it is about a journey that the feminine has to go on, but also learning the importance of the role of the masculine energy. And I'm not encouraging any sort of codependence, okay? You're a grown-ass woman, you don't need no man in your life, okay? But because you have an inner masculine, if you learn how to forgive him, and how to heal the rift between you and masculine energies in the collective, what happens is you bring these two into alignment, and there's no codependency needed. You achieve this on your own, in your own life, on your own terms. But it does have to do with, there she is, with the relationship between the masculine and the feminine, both in society and within. Yeah. Okay, we have a Nine of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which is happiness, individual fulfillment. Look at this, you guys. 3 major arcanas. We have the Magician, the Chariot, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune reversed. This refers to the energetic cycle that's happening on the planet at this time. And let me just look at these cards and see what they want to say to me about it. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's this masculine and feminine energy in the collective is way out of alignment. They're not working together. Okay? I feel like there is a collective, and for many of us, an individual, almost like rising up of the feminine energy within us, saying, this is what I, the feminine, would attract and create. Okay? And I feel like the resistance to that is, I guess that makes sense, the momentum of the patriarchy. The momentum of, well, it's just always been more convenient for the masculine to completely remain in charge, in control, rather than allowing room for balance between these two creative forces. Okay? So it's almost like, I almost feel like this is the collective feminine, almost like trying to cast some sort of spell to slow down this chariot so she can get on. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. Okay? But there's a resistance right now. I almost feel like they're going in different directions, and that's why this Wheel of Fortune. This Wheel of Fortune, by the way, represents the natural organic flow of energy through the collective. But this is a great big something that's happening almost on the scale of like the Earth's energy grid. All right, and that's why it's manifesting as such in the public eye at this time. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being here. I hope there's some clarity that came out of this for you. If you feel like you resonate with the message and you want to share that with me personally, hit me up at info@soulschoolspiritual.com. Otherwise, I hope to see you back on my channel again soon. Take care.